Hey guys, welcome to Reddit Lane. Thank you for watching. Today we're going to have a recap of Love After Lockup, Season 5, Episode 41. It's actually the season premiere, but we all know how Love After Lockup does their seasons and episodes. It's really weird. I can't make any sense of it, but whatever. But this season we have a lot of couples that we've seen before, and I'm super excited because some of them are some of my favorite couples. So we have Rob and Tenny, Bianca and Daniel, who was on last season, Justine and Michael from a few seasons back, Britney and Kyle, Kimberly and Joey, Zeruya and Troy, and Melissa and Louie. So we don't get to see everybody on this episode because, of course, they kind of put different people in different episodes. So we don't see everybody all at once. But let's get started with who we do have. And we're going to start with Bianca and Daniel. So we did see Bianca and Daniel last season. So last season, which was what, last week? And where we left off, Daniel was just released from prison and Bianca had picked him up. She and the family had picked him up. So now we're 3 days out. He's been released for 3 days and they're on their way to the apartment. They get to the apartment and Daniel's not real impressed with it. He's kind of like, oh, okay, which is kind of weird. You've been in prison all this time. It seems like any place outside of prison you should be impressed with, but who knows? Bianca, on the other hand, is really excited. She's excited that Daniel's there, but she's getting to be a little bit bratty. And it showed a little bit it showed a lot last season when her interaction with the parents and how she didn't want to stop drinking, knowing that Daniel has drinking and drug issues. But it really shows a lot in this particular episode. She seems to be throwing in his face a lot, all the money that she spent on the apartment and moving down there and how he should be really grateful. I mean, and that's fine. He should be grateful, but it's just a snotty way that she says it to him. He got up post-coitus, and he is preparing breakfast. And she says to him, you're going to do this all the time for me. And he was like, oh, because you like the breakfast so much? And she says, well, no, because of all the things that I've done. So he kind of let that slide a little bit. He's kind of like, okay, I think he treats her like a kid, but so they go sit down and they're eating breakfast. And as they're eating breakfast, she says, okay, well, get up and get me some coffee. And he says, we're both eating breakfast. You can get up and get your own coffee. It's right over there. And she says, no, I want you to get it. Please, please, please get it. And she's begging like a little kid. And he says, no, I'm not going to get your coffee. So then she tells him, well, after all the things that I've done for you, the least you can do is get up and get me some coffee. And she's really mad about him not walking 10 steps to get some coffee for her. She's a brat. She's a brat. And I don't know how much more of it he's going to put up with. Probably enough because she's paying for everything, till he gets on his feet and then he's going to leave her. They were previously engaged. And I think his friend or his brother, his cousin, whoever it was last season kind of talked him out of it. And she was a little bit mad about that. But I can see that she's not ready for marriage. She's not ready for marriage at all. And I'm not sure where the snotty attitude is coming from. So maybe as we get further along in the season, we'll figure out what's going on with Bianca and why she has that attitude. Not sure. So anyway, moving on, we're going to go to Zeruya and Troy. So you guys remember Zeruya and Troy from last season as well. I can't remember where they left off last season. To be honest with you, I think it was Karen was still there. And I don't think that Karen's there anymore. And I miss Karen. I wish Karen was on this season because Karen is hilarious to me. I love Karen. And I actually found a picture of Karen and I was like, I'm going to share this picture because I miss Karen. And I want Karen to come back. I want her to be a regular. You remember Miss Karen? Hey, Miss Karen. Loving the glasses. Loving the wig. There's Miss Karen. So anyway, back to Zeruya and Troy. So Troy has been out for a month now, which I don't know. It feels like longer. I don't know why, but it just feels like they've been out for longer. So we jump back in and the sister is still living with Zeruya and Troy, and so is the son. And they're saying, the quarters are a little bit cramped. Zeruya and Troy are fighting a lot. You remember all of Zeruya's outbursts from last time, and Troy's running off. I can see them getting into some fights. And the sister says, she's letting them know, like, I hear you guys fighting, and it kind of concerns me. And Zeruya's just kind of like, whatever. They talk about it a little bit, but she's not really giving it much merit. So anyway, this is, I guess, a typical day. They're getting ready for work and the son is getting ready for school. Troy is rolling up a blunt as he prepares for his first day of work. I don't know if he should be rolling up a blunt because I think he has an ankle monitor on. And I'm going to go back and check, but I'm almost positive that he was late to the meetup when he's released because he had to get his ankle monitor put on. And I don't know the rules. Maybe he can smoke a blunt. Maybe it's okay. Maybe it's for medicinal purposes. I don't know what it is, but it just looked a little weird that he was in there doing that. So, what I was impressed with, though, was of course, Zeruya has this nonprofit that she mentioned that she started for them. And it's actually free mental health support and therapeutic support for at risk youth and ex cons. And so, some may argue that Zeruya needs some support herself because I think she has some mental health issues, the way that she was going off the last time. She probably needs some therapy. I know she's been going to see what was that? The psychic or the person with the crystals? I don't know. She's got a lot going on. But anyway, I was impressed with their uniforms. They had the cute little shirts as they were going into work. They go into the office building, and I was impressed with the office building. I was like, wow, she really has a nice setup here. She has a mental health counselor who's on the payroll. She has a clinical supervisor, and these two people look to be, very professional. The office looks really nice. She shows Troy his office. He's really excited about it. He thinks that his experience in the streets is really going to bring something, some worth or something to the business. He thinks he can bring a lot to it because that's what he was doing. And I don't know if anybody ever read that book, Freakonomics. Maybe it's true. Maybe he does have some skills or some things that he can bring. His job is community engagement, and he's really excited about that. He says he's always wanted to do that. I don't know anybody who's always wanted to do in community engagement, but Troy, that's what he's always wanted to do. So he's excited. I was like, okay, I think I'd be the same way. I'm just getting out of prison and I have a job ready for me. This, looks to be a thriving business and I have a corner office. Yeah, he's excited. I would be excited too. Again, I was super impressed with the whole setup. But then Zeruya tells us that she has a secret to share. And the secret is that they have no money. They have no money to pay their employees. They have no money to pay their own bills at the house. They have no money for the rent on the business. And Troy just kind of blows up. And one thing I have to say about Zeruya and Troy, well, Zeruya, you guys remember when she had the argument with Karen last season. And during that argument, I mentioned that Zeruya was wearing an ill-fitted bra and she's just having this blowout in this ill-fitted bra. And I couldn't get past that. And so I didn't share a picture of what the ill-fitted bra looked like, but let me share. So last season, she's having this whole argument. And here's the ill-fitted bra. She's going off. She's mad as hell. She's got the ill-fitted bra on. And it was just a mess. I mean, it was hilarious because it was her and Karen, but it was like, why didn't you put some clothes on? You knew the cameras were there. I don't know why you would do this, but she did. And then this one, right? She's having the argument with Troy, or she's telling Troy about this. And I mean, she's not blowing up and going crazy like she did the last time. But again, you guys are in bed and she has a face mask on. I'm all about some skincare. I love skincare. I think it's wonderful. I put face masks on, the eye mask on, but I wouldn't do it if the cameras are coming in to film an episode. Like, why didn't you take this off? And Troy, you borrowed her hot pink do-rag. You should have taken that off too. Like, I don't know. Other people are getting dressed and ready for the cameras to come in. Not y'all. It's like, take me as I am. This is what I'm going to do. It's the same head rag from last time. I mean, I use the same head rag over and over again. And let me tell you, if you drop in on me at any given day at my house, I'm probably going to have my hair wrapped and in my scarf because that's what I do. But if somebody says, hey, let's take a picture, I'm going to say, let me go ahead and take this off. Like, I'm not going to just keep it on. It's weird. Anyway, Troy, his ammo is to run and take off anytime there's conflict. Because the last time there was conflict, Troy takes off and goes running down the street. You remember Karen and Zeruya had to go find him when they were running down the street or when he took off and left. Same thing here. She tells him about what's going on and he's like, well, I guess I'm just going to have to go back into the streets. Troy, that's not the answer. That's not the answer anytime something happens. But this is him and he's running down the street in his do-rag. And I don't know, can we see if he has an ankle monitor on? I don't know if these are leg weights or what these are, but he's mad. And he's running down the street. And I'm like, where are you going, Troy? Like, where are you going? I don't know. It's a hot mess, these people. These two are a hot mess. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully things will work out and the business will work out. But, we have the rest of the season to see what goes on. So next, we have old favorites, not from last season, but from a couple of seasons back. And this is Tenny and Rob. And you guys, if you remember watching before, when I told you guys about Tenny and Rob, they were one of my favorite couples. I had a pyramid and I put Tenny and Rob at the top of the pyramid, even though he seemed to have some control issues. She didn't get along with the mom. I did still like them as a couple. I felt like I liked their kids. They seemed to get along. I don't know. We'll see. But this season, it was a little bit weird. So it starts off, Tenny is still a stay-at-home mom. Rob has gotten a job as a tarpon supply worker. At this point, Rob has been out for 6 weeks. Someone asked in their confessional if they were happy, and they both answered, yeah, we're happy. And I don't know if that's a happy face or not. Most people are like, yeah, I'm happy. You smile a little bit. Both of them were like stone face. Yeah, I'm happy. It wasn't very convincing. I hope they're happy, but I don't know. It just wasn't very convincing. They showed pictures from a family vacation they had in Florida. Looked really nice, really fun. The kids seemed to have a good time. At this point, though, they're getting a new house. So they're moving. So they're moving everything into the new house. Of course, Rob is putting his cameras up, and he says at this time it's not to watch people, it's for security purposes. But I question that. It may be to watch people, because I don't think you're just going to get rid of your controlling ways that easily. But I don't know. I haven't been there these 6 weeks to find out. Hopefully they'll give us some insight into that, and we'll see. They did talk about one of the secrets that Rob had last season that Tenny had not found out about yet, because they had not been together, because they, got married during COVID, so they couldn't. So they're, consummated their marriage once he was out. And when they did that, Tenny saw that Rob has a tattoo of his ex-girlfriend on his arm. And so, she's a little bit ticked about that, but she wasn't, too mad about it, because she says that we all had partners before, we were in love before, so she understood it. But one thing I saw when I was looking at that tattoo, and I'm looking at the girlfriend that's written on the tattoo, and I don't know if this tattoo was done in prison or if it was done out, because they didn't really talk about that. But I looked at this tattoo and I said to myself, this woman looks like someone who's going to ask for the manager. This woman looks like a Karen. She has that ankle bob. Definitely doesn't look like a black woman. It looks like a white woman, and it looks like an older white woman. I really want to see who this girlfriend is. It looks like an older no-neck white woman. And I don't know, this woman may be beautiful in real life, and maybe this tattoo artist was in prison, and this is what happens with a prison tat. I don't know. It's not a very good one. Anyway, if I was Tenny, I would not have Rob with this tattoo for very long. You would be getting rid of this tattoo. This woman looks like a witch. So anyway, Tenny has planned a welcome home party for Rob. And so they're preparing for the welcome home party. And it looks to be at a nice little rooftop venue. They get there. The kids have made a cake. Let me get back to Tenny and Rob's picture so we know who we're talking about here. The kids have made a cake. They get to the venue. Everything is decorated really nice. And at this point, it's only the family there. And it looks like nobody's showing up. Like nobody's showing up to the party. And it's really sad. Because Rob is like, this really feels like what it felt like when I was in prison. You guys were the only ones there. Nobody came to visit me. Here we are. I'm out and nobody's visiting again. And at this point, people start to trickle in very slowly. It's her mom shows up first, and there's like a, sweet hug. Everybody's happy to see her mom. She was disappointed because she didn't see any of his family there, and she was hoping to have met his family. And they've been out for 6 weeks now. I don't know why this meeting hasn't happened before, or if they waited to have this meeting when the show was airing. Not sure what it was, but for whatever the case is, she hasn't met Rob's family yet, and she was hoping to have met them at this party. Her friend then comes in, and everybody's kind of talking a little bit, and the party goes on for a little bit. And I don't want to say party; it's really kind of a get together or gathering. The gathering goes on for a little bit, and finally, his mom shows up, and Tenny's not too happy about that. If you remember on the season with Tenny and Rob, there was a episode where she met up with the mom, and the mom was really upset because Rob was no longer taking care of her to the extent that she was pre-Tenny. So apparently more of his money is going to Tenny and the family now. And the mom was upset about that. She felt like, Rob wasn't giving her money or wasn't supporting her in the way that he was previously. And she blamed Tenny for this. So there's some tension between the two of them. So when his mom shows up, he hugs her a couple of times. You can tell he's happy to see his mom. They haven't seen each other very much since he's been out, and the mom's mad about it. So she uses this as her opportunity to confront Rob about this. I don't know why this would be your opportunity. I guess because the cameras are here, but she takes this up. So she tells Rob that, you know, you haven't come to visit me. You haven't been around like I would want you to. You haven't seen the family. And, you know, when Tenny's not here, I'm still going to be your mother. So this triggers Tenny, right? Because Tenny's been here all this time. You've heard Rob say that, you know, his family didn't show up for visitation at the jail. It was only Tenny and her family. So, you know, that kind of triggers her when she says that. But she gets up and she walks away, right? She's starting to walk away, and the mom continues to talk. And Tenny thinks to herself, okay, this is my opportunity. And she gets in the mom's face and a fight ensues. And usually I love a good reality show fight. Like, I think it's funny. Like, I watch the reality shows. I love the fights on there, but this fight was kind of sad. Because Rob seemed to be so stressed. Like, his mom and his wife are fighting, and you know, he falls down on the ground and they are like going at it. The kids are there, her family's there. It's like a bad situation. So it ends their particular episode, it ends with them, you know, in the middle of the fight. So we're gonna see what happens after the fight once they've broken it up and how they kind of work or resolve through this. I hope things work out. I don't know. I don't really care for this mom. Just from what I've seen of her last time, she feels like she's entitled to certain things from Rob. Rob's been in prison a long time. You didn't visit him. I don't know what the backstory is on that and why she didn't, but hopefully we'll find out more about them and their situation. So next, we're going to go on to Justine and Michael. So they're from a few seasons back. And this is Justine and Michael. Justine's 36, Michael's 36, and Michael's working for a moving company. They have their baby. They were, I think, pregnant last season. They may have had the baby last season, but I don't know if the baby was born on the last one. Not very last season, but whichever season they were in. But the baby's born now. It's little Manhattan. You say Manhattan, whatever they call her. Little Manhattan. And she's less than a year old. But surprise, surprise, Justine is pregnant again. So they have moved from the East Coast to Las Vegas. They have a really nice house, really big house with a pool. They have 8 kids, so they need a whole lot of space for this big family. I'm not sure where all their money's coming from. That's a little bit questionable. I did read somewhere, probably read it, that Michael's mom or Justine's mom actually put the house in her name. So I think she helped them to get the house. Michael had some sort of tennis shoe line or something like that before. He is a rapper. I'm not sure how much rapping he's doing because he does have the day job at the moving company, which is good. We like that he works. And I guess maybe he works on his rap career on the side. I did see a couple of lives on TikTok with Michael, and he was doing some of his rap, and, you know, he was with Baby Manhattan. So I kind of kept up with him a little bit through social media. But here we are now. Justine's pregnant. I didn't know that. That was a surprise to me. So she's pregnant, and they're at the doctor's office. In their confessional, they're joking around a little bit that they planned this pregnancy. This is baby number 9, and this is her 5th C-section. So as the doctor is doing the ultrasound, of the nurse, I'm not sure if it's a doctor or a nurse, she's doing the ultrasound, and they find out that the baby is a boy. She lets them have their moment, and as she's getting ready or she's getting back up, she then tells them, like, hey, serious talk now. You are a super high risk pregnancy. You were told when you had this last baby that you should not have any more children because it's going to risk your life. And you've had 5 previous C-sections. This is not safe for you. She basically tells Justine in this conversation, you need to get your will together, or whatever it is that you're going to do. You guys need to decide. If it comes down to it, which it may very well come down to it, either your life or the baby's life, you're going to have to make a decision about who you choose. And it was a really crazy conversation because they're sitting there. And I think that if my doctor were talking to me like that, I'd be bawling, crying. But apparently they knew what they were getting into because, number one, they found out when they had the last baby that this was going to be a super high risk pregnancy if she had another baby. And number two, you planned this. They talked about the fact that this was something that you planned. You shouldn't have any more children. And, you know, you don't care anything about that. You just want another baby. So you have another baby. And I think it's kind of a selfish decision. You have 8 other kids at home that need a mother. You have a brand new baby. And now you're risking your life. And, you know, at the end of the day, you're saying, I'm going to say, you know, if it comes down to it, you know, if it's between my life and the baby's life, I want the baby to live and let me die. But it's really a selfish decision to have a baby in the first place. Because again, you're taking away your 8 other kids' mother, or in this case, 9 other children's mother. So they're going to have to grow up without a mom because you've decided that you wanted another baby. I don't know what I'd do in that situation, but what I can say is that I wouldn't put myself in that situation, because if my doctor told me this, I wouldn't have another baby. But she kind of played it off at first like as it was something funny, but then they talked a little bit more and they got a little bit emotional about it, because Michael was like, I don't want to do that. And she's like, well, I'm going to write it up anyway, so that I know that you're not going to make the decision to let me die. So that's what's going to have to happen. And usually, having a baby and the pregnancy, it should be happy moments. And in this moment, like, it feels like it's not. Like, I feel like with her high risk pregnancy, it's going to be really hard for her. Like, I don't know how you take care of a household with all these children and take care of yourself when, you have this high risk pregnancy. I don't know. I mean, I wish them all the best, and I hope and I pray that things work out for them, that everything is okay with her and the baby. Maybe this is just the storyline. It seemed pretty real to me. I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. So next we have Britney and Rock. So Britney and Rock were a couple of seasons back again. This is Britney and Rock. Britney's 23, Rock is 26. I don't think that Britney is working right now, but Rock is doing HVAC. I think the few seasons back when we saw them, he was looking for a job doing HVAC, and he found one. So they were doing okay. They are engaged. They did get engaged that last season. So they're engaged, and now they're moving to Houston. So they're packing up everything. They have big plans to move from Richmond, Virginia to Houston. However, as they're making all of these plans, right before they leave, Rock gets a call from his PO that tells him they've actually not been approved for the move to Texas. So they've been approved in Virginia. The state of Virginia says, okay, it's okay for you to move to Texas. But the state of Texas has not accepted this and said, okay, you're okay, or you're approved to move to Texas. So at this point, they have packed up all of their stuff. Their lease is up. They have a place to live in Houston. They're ready to get on the road to drive to Houston. And now they can't go. They have no place to live. They may be homeless because they don't have any money. They've put all their money into their place that's in Houston, and it's a big mess. And it's really crazy, because I'm wondering to myself, how did you not get all of this sorted out prior to this point? And I get it. Britney's kind of young. She's 23. Rock's a little bit older, but, he's been in prison for a while. I don't know. I can't speak to it. But I do think it was really poor planning on both of their parts to get them to the point where they are. Somebody made a really bad decision somewhere. Hopefully things will work out, but that's where we are. They are in a pickle. So next we're moving on to Kim and Joey. So we did see Kim and Joey last season. It's another couple that was from last season. And here's Kim and Joey. Joey's now been out of prison for 2 months now. 2 months now. They're both 39 years old, from the same town. They kind of grew up together. So far, Kim says Joey's been a really good dad. He's taking the kids back and forth to school. He's not working. He's still not working. And they've had some money issues. Joey doesn't know when to stop spending money, or he doesn't know what a budget is. Kim has some money from her savings that she had been living off of. I don't know that she does any work. I don't remember seeing what her job was. If you guys remember, put it in the chat. I'll find out for next episode, but I don't know. We'll see. I don't think she has a job, though, because what she was saying during this episode was that they were looking to buy a house because their lease was up, and she was actually selling baby clothes to be able to afford this. So I don't think she has a job if she's selling baby clothes. She says that Joey's a good dad, but I don't know how he is as a partner. We did see last season that he was having conversations with his ex, texting back and forth. He actually tried to meet up with the ex, and she didn't show up prior to their engagement party. It's really weird. They go to the engagement party, and Kim's cousin is there, and he's whistled at Kim's cousin, and they acted like that was a big deal. I wouldn't care. Somebody's whistling at somebody, whatever. But they thought it was a big deal, like it was, akin to cheating. They got past that, went on with the party, whatever. So fast forward to now. But all of this leads me to believe that Joey is probably not the most faithful, or he may not be faithful. He may not have cheated yet, but I do feel like something may have happened, or he may still have feelings for that ex. We'll see if something plays out on this one. But they're trying to buy a house. She's selling the clothes. And she doesn't really trust him. So she's constantly tracking him. She'll just periodically think about it like, well, let me track him, because she has a tracker on his phone. So they've got some trust issues there. She's probably thinking what I'm thinking, which is the same thing. This man is not trustworthy. So he's bringing the son to school, and she has 2 kids, 2 boys. And since they've been together for a really long time, apparently when the son Kason was born, they were sleeping with each other at the same time. She was sleeping with her ex that she believes to be Kason's dad. Joey sees Kason, though, and feels like Kason looks like him. They were sleeping together at the same time. There's a possibility that Kason could be his son. And I looked at Kason, and I'm going to share a picture of Kason because I did not see it. He says that they look alike, but looking at the picture, I was like, I don't know if I see any similarities. The nose is not the same. The mouth is not the same. I don't know what he sees. Like, he mentioned his hair. He was like, oh, when I grow my hair out, it looks like yours. But that's maybe the only thing. I mean, I don't know. The timing is there. If it was his son, I mean, they're doing a paternity test to find out, but he's really thinking that Kason is his son. So this episode, they did the paternity test. They sent it off in the mail. So we'll see what the results come back as. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Next week, we're going to, I guess, follow up with everyone. I hope we'll see the people we didn't see in this episode, who included Melissa and Louis. And I think that was it. That was the only couple we didn't see this season. I mean, and we haven't seen so far. So hopefully we'll see them next episode and see what's going on with them, because they're a really funny couple. But thank you guys for joining. Have a good one.